I want to play a couple of things. First of all, I want to, Stu, if you will, we're going to describe this video here.
Okay.
This is a vandal working some artwork on a Tesla. Go ahead, play this. There he's getting out of the car.
He's hiding. Which is always
now. Got a key.
Again, these people don't realize that Teslas have cameras all over them, every angle.
Just so stupid. Okay, so he's hiding, and now he was caught on camera, and so the person that who had the Tesla, whose car was keyed, he confronted him in the parking lot. This is satisfying. Listen to this.
Free service.
Free service? How about you pay for the repairs? Write a check. You just bought a Tesla.
I can wipe it off with a towel.
No,
it's not.
No, it is a hate crime, sir. It is a hate crime. Did you write a swastika on there?
I'm sorry you're upset.
Did you write a swastika?
It didn't even work. It doesn't work.
Did you write a swastika on the? It's a key, sir. We see it on the video.
It's not a key.
Did you? Is it a swastika?
I was probably putting my keys in my pocket.
Is it a swastika?
Have you looked at your car?
Is it a swastika?
Is there a key mark?
Yes. Is it a swastika?
That's impossible.
It's at the police right now. It's being fingerprinted.
What do you mean it's being fingerprinted?
Because they're trying to track you down. Thankfully, Facebook tracked you down. So your business, your freaking livelihood, everything now. Listen, because you chose to write so you tell Facebook that you're sorry for writing a swastika on a Tesla.
Listen, I said I'm sorry.
For what?
And I apologize.
For what?
I have nothing against your car, and I have nothing against you.
So why would you write a swastika on a Tesla?
Obviously, I have something against Elon Musk, but that's not the way to show
So Elon Musk owns that car? Because it was bought and paid for. It was bought and paid for a long time ago.
That's why it's misguided, and obviously I did not intend to do that.
Look, is the total change.
Yeah.
What do you mean it's at the police? Why do the police have, they're fingerprinting it? Boy, was that, oof, wow, I feel completely different.
Yeah, I mean, like, his explanation at the end there is a good one for, like, a mean tweet. Right, like you're right. I shouldn't. I got carried away, and it's not. I'm upset. I shouldn't have done that. When you're keying a car, I mean, he says he wasn't keying it. I don't know what the truth is on that. A lot of people have crayons in their pockets as adults.
Right. Come out of the car with the crayon, holding it like a key.
Yeah.
One other thing. This is from Wisconsin. This is the founder and CEO of equity firm Valor Integrity Equity Partners with Elon Musk on stage. Listen to this about Social Security.
When we saw these numbers, we were like, what is this? In 21, you see 270,000 people, goes all the way to 2.1 million in 24. These are non-citizens that are getting Social Security numbers.
Yeah, this is a mind-blowing chart.
Yeah, this literally blew us away. When you come in the country, if you're illegal, there's a couple ways to come in. You come in through a port of entry, and you can tell them you're afraid, and they'll give you an asylum case. You'll get an interview. Then you get in. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to just go to the border. Literally, this happened. I talked to Border Patrol myself. Elon was there too. I went to Laredo, and I went to Bronzeville. Elon went to Eagle Pass. You walk up to a Border Patrol officer, and you tell them you want to come in. They have a couple of choices. They could charge you with a misdemeanor or a felony under 1325, or they can make it an administrative offense, like a parking ticket, basically. They were told to do that, make it an administrative offense under the last administration. And then you go walk across the border. They do what's called a release from your own recognizance, and they give you an NTA, notice to appear, which to appear to judge. The wait times on judges are like average 6 years. Look at Grok, you'll see it on immigration judges. There's only 700 of them. This is 5.5 million people, okay? So what happens then? Once you're in the country and you got asylum through one of these pathways, and we map the whole thing out, you can apply for a work document. You file a 765, it's the work form. You get this form called the 766, that's the authorization, and then Social Security Administration automatically sends you in the mail your Social Security number. No interview, no ID.
There are millions of people getting Social Security through that process that just came across our border illegally. I'm waiting for the nutritional value of burning Teslas. For those who believe that, global warming is an existential threat.
The greatest existential threat.
We only have 5 years to stop producing pretty much all of our carbon emissions.
Yes.
But it's just like all of it. Okay.
We're at a tipping point almost here.
Well, we're at a tipping point. We can't go back. And the last thing you want to do when you're on a tipping point, you just don't even want to breathe. You know, don't want a breath to come in just because you can fall right over the tipping point.
You don't want that.
You don't want that. Now, speaking of that, what kind of positive things does burning Teslas do?
Well, let's think about the options here. What do you have to do? You could drive a gas vehicle like we have forever.
Yes.
Right? We know that
would be bad.
That would be bad. Now, let me go through the numbers on driving a gas-powered vehicle. Manufacturing 9 metric tons of CO2 equivalent.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow, that's bad.
The operation.
That's why I don't have it. Well, I still have a gas guzzling car, but I have a bigger one.
Yeah, you increase it. Your numbers would be higher, I will say.
Yeah,
knowing Glenn and his car collection, it would definitely be a little higher. A tad higher. I was looking than these numbers.
You know, Jay Leno and I were talking about one of his cars just the other day. It gets 2 miles a gallon.
2.
And I'm like, wow, I'd like to achieve that someday.
2 full miles.
2 full miles.
Downhill.
Downhill,
yes.
yeah, of course. Yeah, it's not on. Yeah.
Okay, so manufacturing 9 metric tons of CO2 equivalent. Operation of that vehicle, about 31 tons. And then the end of life, as you put it in the junkyard and all those other things, you got 2 more metric tons. Total of 42 tons of CO2 equivalent. That's
42 tons.
Now that is, as we know, the thing that's going to kill all of us.
Yeah, that's Bigfoot.
It's the
Bigfoot that's coming in with a Bigfoot, a carbon foot, and just stuffing it down your throat. We're all gonna die.
We're all gonna die. Okay. That's how bad that is.
That's why we have electric cars.
That's why we have electric cars.
Yes.
Now,
okay.
Let me take the alternate scenario.
Okay. Now, hang on just a second. Give me the number again, so I just have it written down because I just want to show. I want to do the math here.
Sure. Yeah. 42.08 metric tons.
42.08 metric tons. Okay, got it.
Okay, that is for operating a gas-powered vehicle.
Hate those things.
Then you have, let's say, you're like, I want to be environmentally safe. I want to buy a cool Tesla.
Yeah.
You buy a Tesla Cybertruck, right? Those are the ones they've been mainly lighting on fire. There's been various attacks on all sorts of cars, of course. But the Cybertruck, I think, has been the biggest target.
Sure.
So you buy a Cybertruck. Then someone comes and lights it on fire and destroys it. Then what do you have to do? You got to still get around, right? So you replace it with another Cybertruck.
Okay.
How does that look for the environment?
Yeah.
So you're manufacturing a Cybertruck, 22.5 metric tons of CO2 equivalent.
Right. 22. Yeah.
Then the fire impact, just setting it on fire by itself, just that day, another 5 metric tons.
5 metric tons.
Yes. Now,
almost a quarter of making it.
Almost a quarter of making it, and more than half of making a gas-powered vehicle.
Okay.
More than half.
Okay. All right.
Not 5 metric tons for the fire itself. All the things that go into the.
Now, did you figure out how much the big, huge fire truck that's just burning diesel fuel like crazy?
I think that's. I mean, I guess technically that's. I don't know if that's included or not in this analysis.
Maybe not in Alaska and Hawaii.
Right. Not in Alaska and Hawaii. Okay. Next, you got to replace it with another Cybertruck, so that's got to be manufactured. Another 22.5 metric tons of CO2. Yeah. Then you're going to operate that Cybertruck for the life of the vehicle while you have it, 12.17 metric tons of CO2. And then the end of life replacement, as it kind of degrades, you have another 2 metric tons. Total emissions, 64.17 metric tons of CO2 equivalent.
Now it seems. I'm not a mathematician.
No.
Okay. But I am a thinker.
You are.
And it seems like 64.17 is a bigger number than 42.08.
Glenn, very good.
I didn't go to school for it, but, hey, I know smart people.
You might recognize it as about a 50% increase in emissions.
That's
so that's kind of, you'd think, a really bad thing.
Bad thing to do.
Really bad thing.
Especially if we're on the edge.
However, we have another scenario here, which I feel like is maybe a little bit more likely.
Okay. All right.
Because the person, let's say you start off, you buy a Cybertruck. Someone comes, lights it on fire as your family looks in horror, hopefully not on the inside of it while it's lit on fire.
Yeah, well,
serve
them right. They voted differently.
Right.
Yeah.
You may be like, you know what I want to do with my next vehicle? Not get another Cybertruck. I might want to instead just get a gas-powered vehicle next time.
Right.
If you do that, you got the Cybertruck originally manufactured for 22.5 tons, the fire impact 5 more tons, the replacement gas vehicle manufacturing of 9 metric tons, the replacement gas vehicle operation of 31 tons, the replacement gas vehicle end of life at 2 metric tons, a total of 69.58
Wow.
metric tons.
Is that still bigger than 46?
Yes.
42 point
It is.
0.
It is.
7. That's weird.
It is a lot higher. So, I mean, and if you kind of look at another kind of interesting way to look at this is you've got about 40, let's see, Cybertruck and a gas-powered vehicle really about equal. I mean, it's actually the Cybertruck. If you drive it for a lot longer, you can get to the positive side on the Cybertruck. But generally speaking, for the first at least 7 years of its life, which is when the average person owns their car for, it's going to be worse for the environment, even without setting it on fire. And then you set it on fire, it gets a lot worse.
How's it going to be worse? It's got that free electricity.
Well, first of all, no, it doesn't. But secondly, it also takes a lot more to manufacture. I don't know if you caught that number. Manufacture more than double. As far as CO2 equivalent.
Saw that, but it doesn't count.
Oh, see, you got me on that point. Critical thinking.
Thank you.
I was just blurting out these numbers, and you critically thought of my numbers, and then just.
And where are the batteries made? Are the batteries made here? Or are the batteries made in China?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah,
I would say probably. Well, knowing the tariff situation, I think the tariffs would hit batteries, wouldn't they?
I think so.
I know Tesla actually did write a letter kind of saying, hey, like, can we not have
tariffs
on our cars, maybe? They did attempt that. I don't know if theirs are built in China, though. I know they have a huge manufacturing here in Texas.
Yeah, right.
And in other parts in the country.
But everybody else's battery is made in China, so that's good. Because, I mean, they're so good for the environment over there. I trust them with batteries. Batteries and rivers, I bet China does well.
And viruses.
I'm
big on the Wuhan Institute of Virology.
Yeah, right.
But I was looking because they did put, and this is Biden, by the way, put 100% tariffs on Chinese manufactured electric vehicles. Because, again, a totally defensible thing for Donald Trump to do, right? He has a real issue with China and believes that they're a major foe. He has been pro-tariffs his entire adult life in the public. Everyone knows he's been for tariffs since the 80s.
His first word was tariff.
Yes.
Like, no, mommy. Mommy.
Tariff. So we know that from him.
Right.
Is it a defensible thing from Joe Biden to do? Because you're telling me the greatest existential threat is not China, but it is global warming. And then China is producing a couple of actually really nice electric vehicles, but many that are terrible and low price, but would be great for the quote-unquote environment.
How do you know?
Why would you not?
How do you know what electric vehicles China is?
Well, there's one that's pretty cool.
What is it?
It's a Lotus.
That's English.
It is English. Manufactured in China, this one particular
those rat bastards.
Right.
They got China, they got England too.
So these people, I mean, let me Glenn, do we have sad puppy dog music?
Yeah.
Do we have some sad music?
Is this going to be are people going to cry because maybe the Lotus store,
there are people
that don't have a Lotus?
There are Lotus owners or people who want to buy Lotuses or Lotis, which they want to get the brand new Lotus Electra.
Wow.
Which is available in theory right now, but can't be imported to the United States because these 100% tariffs.
Yeah.
And we're talking about a car that should be like $120,000, but instead is looking at $229,000.
Sounds specific. Doesn't it sounds a little like he's been looking into this.
I mean, I'm just saying it's a pretty cool looking car.
Yeah, I was at a friend's place on Saturday, and I was just stopping by and see he has an exotic car, place. And I just love going to look at his cars. And I went in, and there was a Lotus, and I knew Stu was looking at a Lotus, and I didn't.
I just think they're cool. Yeah,
I just never seen one, and I saw one, and I'm like, he's looking for it, but it was the little small sports car, which you're not looking, because I thought to myself, this is not going to go over well with Lisa.
Right.
She's not going to say yes to this, but you were looking at an SUV?
Yeah, they just they released like that SUV type of thing called the Electra.
Talked to the guys about it. They were like, it is fantastic. They're making one.
It looks incredible.
They're making one special edition just for America.
Yes, the carbon is the
Yeah,
carbon.
it is.
Again, I don't know much about this, but
Yeah, but they said they were making one just for America, and I told him, and I said, I know what he makes. He's not going to be able to buy one of those.
Thank you. I mean, you could do something about that.
No,
you
I
know.
couldn't.
No,
I
you
couldn't. I'd like to, but then you'd be in bed giving money to China. What would I be thinking? No, not going to do it. He said you're just not going to get one.
That's what they say. I mean, there's a few of them here, but you can't. They won't even sell them to you because of the crazy tariff situation right now. Again,
and I actually like the tariffs on China.
I think there's a much clearer argument for it, right? I mean, like, when you're talking about, again, a tax is an inefficiency in the market, right? That's what a tariff is, a tax, and a tax is an inefficiency in the market. So you're creating an inefficiency in the market. You have to have a justification for that. What is it? Well, it might be to return manufacturing to the United States, right? Or it could be we have a foe in China. We do not want to help them in any way. And I think that's incredibly defensible